We're
Hi!
live! Woo, woo.
Woo! I'm so excited to be on with you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on. This is so exciting. We have so much to talk about, and I've been living the last few days a little brighter, as I'm sure you have, and we'll get into all of that. But let me first just introduce you. Hello, everyone. Welcome to The Show Must Go On line. Today's guest is Daniel Mertzlufft. How are you doing today?
I'm doing so well. It's been a wild 4 or 5 days, and I'm happy to be on here with you on Friday and then go have a nice martini after.
Yes, that is my ideal. A nice little, victory tour, press tour, and then a nice drink to cap it all off.
Exactly. Well, thank you again for having me on. I'm just so excited to be here and to chat with you about everything that's been going on.
Oh, well, thank you. It was, this really brought me back to when I was an on-air reporter, because you would see something goes viral and everyone in the newsroom would be like, okay, who's going to reach out to them and who's going to do this? And I'm like, wait, I know him. I know him.
It was so bizarre, like the random emails, the messages on every type of social media that like I forgot I was active on many years ago. You knew me and could reach out on Facebook, but it's funny with like the Good Morning America. I was messaged by one of the booking agents on Twitter, Instagram. They friended me on Facebook, emailed me, and then somehow they found my mom's cell phone number. So
No.
Was there like a PDF from like when I was in like high school that she was like a contact or something? Which is so bizarre, but yeah.
My gosh.
Strange few days.
That is so funny. It just goes to show that these booking agents are like, we need to get him. We need whatever we have to do.
Every platform.
Everything. So let's just dive right in and tell me, like sometimes I would introduce it, but I feel like in this case, I just want to hear everything from your point of view. Like, how did it start? And then just run from there.
Sure. And feel free to stop me at any time or I'll just keep on ranting. I'm really good at that. So I guess I'll go like way back. So,
let's tell your origin story.
Yeah,
let's start at the very beginning.
I was born in Florida, May 3rd. No, yeah. At the beginning of quarantine, I was really not active on TikTok, but like every social media that I was opening just had the worst news all the time. And it was really hard those first few days. I mean, all of us were there of like, it was just constant. Like you'd turn something on, you'd close it. You'd look at something, it also was there. And I realized that TikTok was the only place where I could like open an app and for like 10, 15 minutes of scrolling, it didn't have to do with how terrible everything in the world was. And I know that the world is a terrible place. I know that these things are going on, but for like 10 minutes, it's okay for my own mental health to not think about them. And I think we all should do that and take some time, journal, read. I've been trying to just stay off of social media as much as I can, like, because it's so consuming. But anyway, so I love TikTok, and I started to make videos, and they were fine. And then I had one that did like, at the time, I was like blown away that people were looking at it. And I did a cover of "This Is Me" from Camp Rock with Luca Padovan singing it in the style of Pascal Paul. So like bizarre already. Like what was I thinking to do this? But it was fun. So that got like 4,000 views, which was crazy to me. And then I've been obsessed with the show called Avatar: The Last Airbender since I was a kid. I mean, like I literally have an Avatar tattoo. I have a stuffed animal of Appa that's right over there that you can't see. So I've been obsessed with it, and it dropped again on Netflix this summer, and everyone watched it, and was re-obsessed with it. So I was like, oh, like, I'll, like, turn these into a musical. Like, that would be funny. And then one of them, which was literally just me at the keyboard singing a song that is in the show, like a brief little thing, but I reimagined it as like a huge ensemble, big dance number, and people loved it. So then with the help of some of my friends, I put together another one that was like fully fledged with the actual dancers and orchestra and all that. And that one now is at like 250,000 views. And that was my first like big TikTok. And I was like, this is so fun and so weird that people are enjoying this as much as I do. Like, I make the videos because I think they're fun. Like, I have a grand old time making them, and then I'm happy other people enjoy them. So anyways, that's like the long story. And I decided to keep doing it, and like super highly produced. Like, I do all of obviously the virtual instruments, but in Logic, like strings, full band as much as I can, so it sounds like that big, fully produced sound, even though it's like for a funny little TikTok. So with this one, it's actually based on another viral TikTok that's it's part of a song called New York Summer by this girl, Louisa Melcher. So Louisa released the song on Spotify and then posted a video on TikTok where she plays it for her car, or plays it in the car for her dad. And he's like, who is this? And she goes, oh, it's me. And he goes, wow, it's terrible. Which is so mean, because one, it's a great song. Like, and it's very nostalgic of like, especially like New York summer, which like is nostalgic right now, because even though it is summer in New York, like it was a different summer in New York, you know? So that one went viral. I mean, there's like 14 million views on this, thousands and thousands of uses of the song. And I was scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and I feel like every other song or every other video used New York Summer. So it's like, oh, you know what? I should like turn that into a musical. And there's one line from the song that is so simple. And it's like, that's what I love about it is Louisa's lyric is really simple throughout the whole thing. But that's what makes it like so nostalgic, you know? And the one line is, and we're fighting in a grocery store and I love you, but I don't know if I like you anymore. Which I was like, that screams modern musical theater. I can just see it. But it's also funny because it's that nostalgia of like fighting in a grocery store where now it's like, I don't want to go to the grocery store. And when I do, I like buy as much as I possibly can so I don't have to return. So it's like, it's such a weird thing to be like nostalgic for, I guess. So then I went with that and I took her phrase, which was that, and we're fighting in a grocery store and I love you and I don't know if I like you anymore. And it was over different chords. It's very indie and stuff. So I did like the full Broadway transformation of it. There's the backup singers, the power chords, all that stuff. Posted it, hoped people would enjoy it. And then the duets started. And that's when I was like, oh, this is really funny. And then it just got more absurd. Like when we got to I'm a can of soup, who both he and the Squeaky Wheel are both like really incredible TikTokers. I followed them for a long time and I love their content. So when they added on, I was like, oh my gosh, I love you guys so much. So then that was like 2 weeks ago maybe. And it was a great time. And what's interesting about how TikTok works is people win those duets, like that doesn't get my video views. So my video was at like 100,000 views or something when this all happened, which is great. Like that was amazing for me. I was so excited. But then there were like over like 500 duets, and like there's not an easy way to see how many views in total that is. At least if you know, tell me, because I don't know. But then all of a sudden I woke up the other morning and like I'm completely inactive on Twitter, and I have been for many years. Just because, again, it was a lot for me, and I was like, for my own mental health, I need to just not be on this app. And it's funny, because I actually, in the middle of quarantine, there's, like, one tweet where I was like, 56 days of quarantine have finally broken my, like, Twitter stoppage of 6 years. And then I deleted it again after a day, because I was like, and I remember why this app is so much for me. So I was getting, like, texts and things, and by the time I got to Twitter, it already was at like 80,000 views and like shares from all of these very famous like social media people, which was just bizarre. So then I got active on Twitter again. I was like, hey, that's my video. Tyler Oakley just shared a video that I'm in. And like, I don't know the woman who who put it on Twitter, which the way she did it was really nice. And it's like, this is why everyone hates TikTok for some reason. It's like, this is why it's a great app. So that was just bizarre to like, I didn't even mean that to happen. And it just, exploded. I thought, a couple hundred people might enjoy it on TikTok, and then I'd keep writing other things, and I never knew that we would arrive where we are today.
What a great origin story
Wild.
to this viral video.
That's the thing is, like, something that I love about TikTok is, like, just the layers that these things randomly have, where it's like, Louisa song, it's based off of this, that then is added onto this, that's then added onto this, that's then added onto this. And it's like, a lot of the times you'll see a video on TikTok, and, like, if I'm off for a couple of days, like, not that I'm ever, like, delete the app, but, like, if I'm just haven't been looking, I'll hear something and I'm like, oh, I definitely know that I'm not on the inside of this inside joke. So it's been funny to see all the different reactions to that.
It's so funny. We were talking about this before we went live, but when I first saw the video, it was just through Twitter, right? Like, it was just, I was scrolling like one normally would, and you're like, oh, let's see this, a new musical about a grocery store. And I opened it and I was like, wait, I know him. And it was so exciting. I know I said that before as a reporter, but also just like as a human and as a theater lover and as a friend, it was just a cool moment to see it happening live as just in the Twitterverse.
Yeah, that was the most bizarre thing. Again, being completely off Twitter. Like, I even, like, to be honest, like, I will admit how old I am. I'm not going to say how old I am, but by saying this, I admit how old I am. Is, like, because I've been off it for so many years, like, I forgot, like, the actual functionality of it. And I was like, okay, there's the retweet, there's a quote tweet, there's a reply, but if you reply, it does this. And I was like, oh my God, like, I've actually forgotten all of this. And
this Twitter thing.
I know, which is so bad because I, like, try to stay hip and cool, but I'm like, I can only be on so many platforms without, like, it consuming my life. So right now it's, like, TikTok, Instagram, and the occasional Facebook, and that's as much as my mental health can handle.
That's real, though. I mean, just to take a break for a second, doing what you need to do for mental health is so necessary. I mean, especially right now, we heard that Broadway is going to be closed for an extended period of time, which we already knew was probably going to happen, but, like, that really hurts. And being in the actual industry, like, what's been going through your head about all of that today and really, like, since quarantine started?
It's a lot, and I've been trying to talk about mental health just in general throughout all of this, and just to be better about that. And it's a lot. Like, there's a lot to manage, and it's funny because I was just talking to one of my friends, and they were like, I think I might go back to therapy. And I was like, I've never gone, but, like, I think I need to go. Like, there's just so much to unpack right now that I'm like, I think everyone should go to therapy. I feel like the toilet paper companies, Amazon, and therapists are doing really well right now. But yeah, I'm very, very, very lucky where I am a composer, arranger, a music director. I know, like, that's really where we met, was doing, like, 54 stuff. And obviously, like, the music direction stuff is gone, but I've been trying to write as much as I can, which is really, really difficult on some days. But I've also been really lucky where there's a couple of projects that have come to light in the middle of quarantine, where it's like, I'm going to take this energy and put it into this creative outlet. So I'm actually, like, of the people in the arts, I know that I am of the luckiest, because as a composer, I can still work. Like, obviously, none of my work is getting produced at the moment, but I can at least, like, work and continue on in the future. But, like, I'm in New York right now, and I live in Washington Heights, so up here it kind of feels normal-ish. Like, obviously everyone's wearing their masks, but with the outdoor seating, and it's a residential area. No one comes up here, like, as a tourist. But every time I'm down in Midtown, it, like, hits me again, and I went down there today, and it just, like, with the news, broke yesterday, this morning, it, like, I like, had just, like, didn't actually cry, but, like, like, take a deep breath, like, feel feel like the wetness in your eyes, and it'll be fine. Theater's been around for centuries. It will always come back. But yeah, like I miss it. I miss it so much, and I was really lucky, like the luckiest of people, where I saw like so many shows the last 2 weeks that I had scheduled like in December and January. Of like, I have this nice little time, like end of January or end of February, beginning of March, where I can see shows. And the Wednesday, like the last performance, I saw the Company revival, which like, not that I ever want to have to choose a last show to see before like a year-long shutdown, but like watching Patti LuPone sing Ladies Who Lunch, like that energy's still with me, and I'm like, it will get us through the next year. I mean, it's just everything about that everything about the production, everyone. But Patty's my queen, and that was my everything. So yes, mental health. I think everyone should be going to therapy at the moment. But yeah, you know, it's been hard. And I really feel for all the actors out there who really can't be working it besides like another Zoom concert, you know?
Right.
Which is why I've been trying on TikTok also to stay active, because that gets that like immediate feedback, and it's also the collaboration aspect of it that I miss so much, of like being in a room and working with people. And obviously like the duet stuff is different, but it still gives you that sense of like weird, fun collaboration.
I do love that TikTok has opened up this world for musical theater people to express themselves and get out there. And I love that what you were saying about like actually producing it. And it's not just like, oh, I took a video and I put it on the TikTok, but you really, I put it on the interwebs.
It's on the interwebs. www. Yeah. Sorry.
But yeah, like I'm not a TikToker, and I a lot of my friends tend to like send me ones when they're musical theater, right? Because they're like, have you seen this? And it's like, oh, that's really funny. But I think it's just because like what I do is more like I do interviews, or I take other people's songs that I've filmed and I put that out there. So that's not really like a opportunity for me to do the TikTok. But then when I see people's TikToks, I'm like, that was a lot of work. Like I can tell from the production side of it, that wasn't just like, I whipped this up and I threw it out there.
Well, yes, but I also love the exact opposite. Like it's a place where both of those are loved and appreciated. Like I love the stupid videos of like, there was just one that went viral the other day that had like 1 million like likes or something, which is absurd. That was like, there was a guy like standing like at the end of a hallway, and his friend walks by, and he goes, "Oh my god!" And just like this long riff, and it's like 8 seconds, one take, like so funny, love, and then like highly produced, ridiculous stuff, love it, and it's all of those things, and also like what you said as an outlet for musical theater, something that kind of like got me into all of this and like the idea of people duetting you and stuff. Because there's a bunch of MDs, like some like even Broadway MDs who are putting up videos where it's like, hey, this is Defying Gravity, and we're gonna stop at the key change, duet with me, and go. So if you, and then it's like, oh, I get to sing Defying Gravity like with a Broadway MD playing for me. Like, how wild is that, you know?
That is amazing. I do love that side of it. I saw Alex Lacamoire was also doing something similar. And it's such a beautiful way of like, we're not together physically, but we're expanding what it means to be together virtually. And that's a beautiful aspect.
Yeah, and it's what a specific thing. Like I believe I know what you're talking about with Alex, and it's the I think he did like End of Skylar Sister, or no, it was Helpless. And it was like, you better bet that in my room, I sang Helpless with Alex Lacamoire playing the piano for me. Like, 100%. And when does anyone, except when you are, like, in final callbacks, and maybe not even then, do you get to play with him playing for you? You know?
Right.
It's like that. It's such an intimacy thing there, where it's the idea of Twitter, where it's like, I have all these people right at my fingertips, like celebrities I can actually get in contact with. Yes. But actually making that connection, you know?
There's just, I'm just like, I'm going through all the videos from, so, okay, wait, let's clarify something. What do you want to call the musical? Because I've seen it written a few different ways.
There are so many different versions of it. And like, again, I threw this video up. Never in a million years did I think it would go like this. So I called it like grocery store, but make it a musical. Because I thought at the time Louisa's sound, because the one I heard the most was like, and we're fighting in a grocery store. I thought it was called grocery store. Like that was what the sound was called on TikTok. So that's like the title says grocery store, but as a musical. And like, obviously it's New York Summer. But like, I don't know. So I like to grocery store. It depends on if we like acknowledging that it is a parody. Like it inherently is a parody, but like, do you want parody in the title? Like, is it grocery store colon a musical theater parody and then under inspired by New York Summer by Louisa Melcher? It's going to be a big billboard. Just the most. Or grocery store, comma, the TikTok musical, colon, a musical theater parody based on and inspired by New York City. Just the most. I feel like the credits are gonna get like the SpongeBob credits, where it's just that, because it's all the different writers, because like we have to credit Mom, we have to credit Can of Soup, we have to credit, like, because obviously it's all Louisa, like that's where that started. So
Yeah.
like, does she play New York Summer, and at that moment, like, that's when the show begins? Like, who knows? It's so bizarre.
That is phenomenal. And it also makes me think of what you were just saying before about like one person might really produce with like the strings and the chords and that, but then someone else just takes it and like uses that already produced sound and is like, let me just add like one sound or one look or like that, like the
the squeaky wheel kills me. Like, kills me. And like the employee, that's the other thing. I love everything. I love all of them. Like I truly can't pick one, because like Can of Soup guy, I was so obsessed with him before, like the fact that he even added on.
Ooh.
But like the employee, every time I hear her say that, we close at 9, dead, still makes me laugh.
Oh my goodness.
Well, and what's also funny about all those duets is there's a whole different like long chain of what's happening backstage. And there's like, I believe there's, I think it only gets up to the employee, and then it's like a stage manager, the sound engineer, the lighting designer, the director who's like anxiously waiting, and then there's an audience member who like drove in from New Jersey and knows every word. Like they get so specific on these like backstage in front of houses as well. It's like so many layers to it.
That is amazing. And I saw Skylar Astin joined.
I know. Yeah, I know. Which I was like, I love him. He's amazing. And it's so funny because like what I know him from like this bizarre, I don't like know him personally, but I remember like knowing who he was from this like bizarre chain of events. Doggo. Hi. Where I work for a company called iTheatrics, and we're the ones who write and adapt like high school, junior kids musicals. And I guess he did like shows way back in the day, and like, you know, we're around the same age, so obviously I wasn't working there at the time. But my boss, Tim McDonald, wrote James the Giant Peach with Pascal Paul. And I got that CD, and I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. And there's this one song called Middle of a Moment that Luca Padovan sings like in the actual like show. And then they have like bonus track of Skylar Astin singing it. And I was like, he's so good. And then I was like, who is that? And I looked him up and I was like, oh, like I know him. Like I've seen him in a million things. I just didn't know, like, I knew he was a good singer, but like, wowzers. And then he added on and I was like, oh my god, Skylar Astin's my lover. Like, oh my god. Like, but then it was also funny because Megan, who is the my wife or girlfriend, partner, whatever, I don't really think anyone's established that. We were like, okay, so now let's break this down. Like, what does that mean? Like, are we in an open relationship and you know this? like, is my character secretly gay and that's why he's having second thoughts? Like, is he cheating on you? Like, what is happening with this? Like, that opened up, again, like, so many layers of it. It's like, oh my gosh, like, what is he going through? And, like, what is he doing to his wife and this poor kid if this is what's happening? Or does she know when this is allowed? Like, so many layers.
Oh my goodness. It is funny, the role that he chose, because I was thinking, like, we already have this other part established, and it does make me so happy, though, that you're, like, dissecting this, and it's, like, being workshopped right now.
Yes! That's exactly what it feels like, of, like, okay, so, like, and the child is there. Like, that also adds a whole layer. Like my character, I wrote it as, like, well, I didn't, you know, based off of Louisa's thing and then the inspiration of that, it's like, he doesn't want to feel this way, but it's like, like, these emotions, just like, you know, classical musical theater, I feel these emotions and now I can't speak them anymore, so I'm going to sing them finally, you know? Right. So, is he really saying this, like, in front of the child?
Oh.
Which, like, that's, like, he's not a good person. If he's like, you're saying that to this child's mother in front of the child? Like, that makes him, like, a bad person. So,
or
I was like,
is it in the head and they're having one of these, like, they're not really singing it, but in their head they're singing it, and it goes into that musical theater, like, other part where you just, like, you turn and face the audience and both parts are singing.
Yeah, it's like I throw the card up against the thing and I'm like, I can't take this anymore. And then you hear and we all, like, turn towards the audience, we all get our verse, and then it builds to the what is he singing? What are we doing here? You know, like, all that stuff. Clearly I've spent far too much time as a dramaturg like, on this musical that's happening.
I love it.
Yeah. Well, and because then I've also been thinking about, like, these other characters, because people have been asking, like, are you going to take this and do anything with it? And I was like, no. Like, the reason that it's funny is because it's parody. Like, if anyone thought I was taking it seriously, like, that I thought I had written the next Broadway hit, like, that's not funny. Like, you know, because it's playing on all those tropes. So, because it's a parody, like, I don't know, would it even be funny after a minute? But then I was like, okay, I wonder if, and I was actually inspired by, this is what made me think about our good friend Robert Kiki. And he, you know, Robert Kiki, he's amazing. He wrote The Lightning Thief, the Percy Jackson musical.
It always comes back to
the Percy Jackson musical. He wrote another awesome piece that I have gotten to play, like, a million times in concerts and workshops, called Monstersongs. And you've seen that, right? You were at that 54 one? Yeah. Yeah,
that's what I filmed with. Oh my gosh. We were definitely going to talk about that, so thank you for already introducing it.
So good. Like, and I have played it so many times. Like, even a couple of songs, the show as a whole, I love it. Every single time, obsessed with it. And it's like, the cast is always incredible, and, like, Julia Murney sings this, I don't want to pick favorites because I love all of them, but she sings this one song called Hell Hath No Fury, and it's just like, I've met so many incredible women who've played Elphaba, and I love all of them, but watching, like, a person like Julia Murney just owns a room in a way that, like, I don't understand how someone can do, and it's like, throughout the whole song, she, like, looks forward. And then she did this at 54, like, she changes what she did, but at 54 that one time, she looked forward, and then one time she just, like, reached forward, and it's like, the way that she was holding her hand, I was like, if actual powers came out of your hand, I would not be surprised.
Yeah. That was so magical.
Yeah. Anyways, I was just so caught up in the moment of, like, that's such a good concert. So anyways, what I was thinking of, and what Monstersongs is basically taking, like, monsters that we all know and spinning them on their head and giving them another perspective. And, like, Julia Murney's is about a witch and how everyone hates this witch. And it's like, there's one line that always breaks me, and it's like, you made yourself the hero. Oh, guess that makes me the witch. And it's like, So and there's like Unravel, which is about a mummy who like you left me here and I'm left here to unravel for thousands of years. Amazing. So it's like, well, I guess there's a world where it's like we explore who like each of the characters are. And the other day I was like, I wonder if there's something where it's like this is like way maybe this will make TikTok eventually, but again like parody of this of like who is this character? And they like start singing about like, you know, I'm always here, like how lonely can someone be just sitting here forever? And it's like that's okay because I know who I am. I'm a can of soup. Yes, that's who I am. And just like accepting the fact that that's who they are and they're proud to be a can of soup. And it's like, I'm proud to be a low sodium chicken noodle can of soup. But you know, like, that might be fun. Like, what is the perspective of a can of soup? Who knows?
I think you're onto something.
But I think we'll stick with 1 minute cuts for the moment.
It just is so okay. For anyone who somehow has gotten to this part of our interview and has not seen the whole thread, which I highly recommend, it is truly this magical moment that if you start from the beginning, I guess you should start with New York Summer first.
Yes.
So that you have the perspective, which I listened to, and it's wonderful. Then listen to your part, and then mom, child, can of soup, or the employee, and then the squeaky. It's like, it's such a funny list.
So many.
Yeah. But it really is, you know, you don't get tired of hearing the first part over and over again because the layers on top of it just give this new perspective every time. And it's just so funny, and the creativity of the world to kind of like just say, hey, I like what you're doing. Yes, and this is what I've got.
Yeah, you know, now that you say that, it feels like an improv. Like, that's exactly what it feels like. It's like, we're in, like, we're with a musical improv group, and someone goes like, tell me a place you'd have a fight. And someone goes, a grocery store. And then you hear, you know, and they're like, oh, okay, yeah, grocery store. And then, like, everyone leaves, and, like, it starts with just me, and and we're fighting it, you know. Like, that's really is what it feels like now that you say that. It is 100% a yes and. Like, it's just, it follows that rule of improv. Now, I'm not an improver, so that's what I know from my improv friends. I hope I didn't say anything wrong right there.
No, that was perfect. I participated in the Freestyle Love Supreme Academy.
So cool.
And they're so cool. And they just make you feel like anyone can improv and freestyle and beatbox and sing and whatnot. And it is that. It's like, take a ridiculous thing, but then give it the honesty. And that's where the TikTok turns into this improv, turns into this parody really well done, is that like everyone is really committed to their part.
Yeah, and it's funny because I did it, and then I was like, okay, should I record myself? Because here's the secret, like, it's not live, like, it's all pre-recorded. Wow, I'm lip syncing. So wow, who would have thunk? So I was recording it, and I was like, you know, do I just record it like at my piano while singing it? And I was like, I guess I should act it out, and like I used the green screen effect, which is like everyone uses on TikTok. But it felt absurd. Like, I was standing, like, right here, like, acting to, like... Well, and it's also, do I act to the camera? Or do I act to the audience that's above the camera? And I was like, I don't know, because, like, looking at the camera was absurd, and, like, acting out this absurd, because it's also, like, an absurd thing to act out. Like, and we're fighting here in the grocery store, and I love you, you know. Right in aisle 9. Who knew aisle 9? Which I also love that. Like, one of my friends who is produces a bunch of off West End, and he actually has a show opening on the West End in the middle of a pandemic because theater can be done safely if you have like smart people taking care of that. But we're not going to talk about that. So he has a show going up in December, which is really amazing, and I wish I remember the name of it. But Chris, you're amazing. So he made a fake poster for New York's or for Grocery Store, the musical, based on New York Summer by Louisa Melcher. And like at the top, it's like, Jonas in aisle 9, or like a fight in aisle 9. That's what it was. A fight in aisle 9, ... And you're like, oh my god, I can see that like on the taxis and like a fight in aisle 9. You're like, oh no!
And all of the stand Twitter will like be taking a selfie on aisle 9 of their local grocery store.
Yes, it's like, oh my god, aisle 9, like, oh yes. So when we moved to Broadway, like, you know, if any producers are looking, I think it will be the next big hit. It will definitely be like under 5 minutes, so like in and out for the audience. You can like do a quick turnaround. We love.
You thought 6 was quick.
Ugh, 6.
That was my last musical before the pandemic.
Was it really? I was supposed to go to opening night. I was like, I had my like full opening night look, like everything. I mean, we shut down at the right time. It already was too late. We should have done it earlier. But I was still devastated. I love that show so much. And like, I've been following it, not as long as a lot of other people, but I was in London last May, and a couple of people was like, oh, you should listen to it. And I was like, oh yeah, sure. Like, you know how you're always like, oh yes, and then you forget to do it.
Yeah.
So I got there, I was there for work, and a couple of my other coworkers had already been there, and one of them was like, you have to see this show. You're going to love it. It is just fierce queens belting at you for 90 minutes. And I was like, all right, like, sure, like, sounds good to me. And I went and with another one of my coworkers, and we like had a couple of cocktails before, because like I love all types of theater. I think all types of theater have a place. Like, I love an incredibly written, emotional, thought-provoking evening. Not that other shows are not like incredibly written. They are incredibly written, obviously, that's why I enjoy them. But like, I love like a deep, dark, thought-provoking show, but sometimes I also just love an evening where I'm smiling the entire time. I hear incredible vocalists. I love that evening. So we're like, great, we'll have dinner, we'll have a cocktail, we'll go see the show. Little did I realize that it's so good, and some of the most brilliant writing that I have heard in the past few years. Like, Toby's music is amazing, obviously, but Lucy's lyric and what she can do with like 4 syllables, like in nothingness, because they're pop tunes, inherently they're pop tunes, and telling a story with that little of lyric is absurd. And the way that Toby's music moves that along, like I could happily talk to you for like 3 hours about every moment I love about 6. But I saw it there. I got to see it in Chicago when it was there, because again, I happened to be there for work. And I was like, well, I have the evening free. I might as well go. And then I saw it on Broadway twice, which was amazing. And it was fun because I was like comparing the riffs like from my memory and like what each queen does. And I also love that about the show. And then I promise I'll stop talking about how much I love 6. But that I love...
You're in good company.
It's so good. I love that, and not all shows can allow this, because that's okay, like it shouldn't, but it allows each of the queens to make it a very, very distinct thing for each of them. So I loved seeing all of the original queens. Yeah. And I also loved seeing any understudies, because they all are equally talented, and each one is so vastly different and so equally amazing.
So you'll appreciate, I also saw it in England, and it was amazing. And we had a mid-show change. One of the queens, she was okay, so that was good. But I think she like rolled her ankle or something. And it was one of those things like she could keep going, but she has an understudy, and like just so, you know, it was the first time I saw it. So we see her exit, and we're like, I don't think she leaves. Okay. And then just a whole new queen comes out. Like, they did it seamlessly. It was so impressive. And it's true, like the role kind of changed a little bit, but I love that they embrace that they don't say like, these are the queens and these are how they're supposed to be. It's you are playing this role, take on your own feeling. And we're getting a lot of comments here by Judy and Carly, also loving 6. Yes. Hello, friends.
Yes. Yeah, I love it so much. And yeah, it's really about like that individuality, and allowing them all to do that. And have all the different emotions. And also, it's the same thing of like, in London, it was like tiny off, I think it was technically West End, but like off West, it felt like an off-Broadway theater, you know?
Right.
Tiny little thing. Yeah. And like, obviously like the set design was great, the costumes were great, but it wasn't Broadway budget. And I was obsessed with the show. So on Chicago, clearly had a bigger budget. Still obsessed. So on Broadway, had a Broadway budget. Still obsessed. You know what? I want to see it in someone's backyard with people wearing everyday clothes. I don't care. Like, it's one of those things where it's also like, give me a $0 budget, give me a $10 million budget. I like it always.
An acoustic version? Ooh.
Like just like piano and guitar and, well, I also, I love. Again, sorry, I could go on and on and on about sex. I love it.
Yes, I love that as well. So, okay, I feel like we've got the door open from the netherworld, so I'm gonna just go ahead and close that real quick here.
Great, love that. Oh my gosh, I love your blouse, like drapery. Love that.
Thank you.
I'm not quite sure. I don't know what to call it.
Yeah, I saw this at Target, very fancy.
Both Target! I love Target!
And I'm like, oh, this is fun. And I got it because Rosh Hashanah and the high holidays were coming up. And I actually, like 2 days after Broadway shut down, I flew out here to my boyfriend's place in Washington State. And I was like, I don't have any like appropriate clothes, even though it's just like on YouTube and I'm not even being seen through Zoom. I still feel like it's the high holidays and I should be dressed up. So I got this because blue and white and it felt very nice, whatever. Obsessed. And then I'm like, oh, that's fun.
Well, it's funny that like, especially with Target, because this keeps happening to me. And like a couple weeks ago, I was hanging out with like two of my friends within my bubble. And one of them had like just had a voiceover audition for Target. And I was like, no, I love Target. And then I was I launched into a whole conversation with my other friend about like, and this is why I like Target, and this is why I like Target. And then he came in, and then we were like, did we just like inception into a Target ad? Because that was a solid like 5-minute conversation about how much we love Target. Like, is that real? Or was that like inception into an ad? Unsure.
I feel like between this grocery store musical and this Target ad, it's like, are we just living in this world where ads and musicals just pop out of nowhere and you just start dancing? A 5, 6, 7, 8.
I was like, has my brain been bought out like all grocery stores? And I'm like, I don't know. Well, and actually it's funny that that you say that because someone tweeted at me on I don't even know the lingo. Like I don't even use it. Tweeted at me. Who was I think it was Shay's Performing Arts Center who asked me. But I'm from Buffalo, New York, upstate, and Shay's is like the touring house there. And they asked me, okay, but is it Wegmans or Tops, which was like the two grocery stores in New York or in Buffalo that are like always competing. And I was like, I mean, I don't really want to take a side. Wegmans, but I don't really want to take a side.
Obviously. Okay, good.
I know, I love Wegmans. No, here's the thing. I also love Tops because Tops is like, it's smaller, so you can always like walk in and like get what you want really fast. But Wegmans, I'm just going to do ads now. I did 6, I did Target, and now I'm going to do Wegmans.
Have you been to Trader Joe's? Let me tell you.
I love Trader Joe's. In fact, they're like, they're frozen pizzas how I get by. I happen to have one right here.
Pumpkin.
Who knew?
It really is from Trader Joe's.
Is it? It's like, or I've been needing a lot of caffeine, and that's why Starbucks is a great way to get.
This is so good.
I'm not sponsored, I promise.
Not sponsored.
But if anyone wants to,
I feel like you'll really appreciate this. So I love Schitt's Creek. Oh no, it's a come on ring light.
Oh yeah. Oh, Rosa Carey.
And I promise this is not an ad, but it might as well be if you want to pay me. Hello.
Yeah, right. Like it's not, but it can be.
But it can be. it's just Judy goes, "This segment brought to you by."
I promise you it's not. I'm just very vocal and passionate about things that I enjoy.
Yes, it's so good. Okay, wait, I would be remiss if I didn't tell you. So I'm a part of this Twitterico Twitter group where we're all like big Lynn fans in Hamilton and in the Heights and whatnot. And we were on this Zoom call, I want to say like a month and a half ago. And somehow this joke about Waitrose, the musical, came up. And Waitrose is a London grocery store for anyone who doesn't know, which I didn't know. And I thought it was just a parody on Waitress.
Yes.
And so we just start getting this whole, like, someone wrote some things and it's like, oh, it's this younger woman and this older woman meeting. And the older woman is like, hey, you should just go for the ice cream you want. Don't settle for the one on sale.
Honestly, big mood. Like, I feel that hardcore. It's like, it's okay to spend the extra $2 for good ice cream.
It's worth it.
It's worth it.
It's
Ben and Jerry's. It's worth just every ad spot we possibly can get in.
Please just keep it going. And someone saw the, tweet, the original tweet of, your video that started the viral Twitter thread. And someone posted that in our group. And they were like, now we can't do Waitrose the musical because they'll think that we copied it. I was like, wait, that's my friend. He's coming on my series tomorrow.
We totally can do it. If Lynn wants to team up, I am available. We have to check with Louisa and the 7 other people who added to, or 500 people, depending on what we want. But I am so down. Maybe it can be like a grocery store anywhere in the world. Who knows where this grocery store could be? Like, it's a magical grocery store that like transports you to places. I mean, that's an absurdist show, but like, about a grocery store, who knows? Like, it's a scary grocery store.
We can get some time travel in. We can just like keep going. It's magical. It's time travel. Do you like Doctor Who?
It's everything. Like every possible fandom, we're just gonna throw it in. Like all of them. Like every possible fandom. Yeah. Anyways, I promise I'm not sponsored by anyone. Please don't come at me. I do not speak for these brands. Just want to say that out loud.
Cosign, retweet. Brought to you by B-Way Show. That is accurate.
Like, I'm not sponsored. I do not speak for these companies. Insert text here. We don't have that. We're not that fancy. We can't get live text. Oh,
I'm so sorry that I'm self-produced and I don't have my producer standing by being like, where are the graphics? We need the graphics. Where's
one of my favorite sponsor ad shoutouts is always the 30 Rock ones when they like talk about doing sponsor ads and it's like, Liz Lemon, can we get our money now? Like, I mean, Tina Fey would do anything for.
If you want to join us, come on.
Oh, Tina Fey, everyone! She's there back. If you want to write the book about this, I'm happy to talk about the dramaturgical work. I was like, that's a hard word to turn into that. Dramaturgical work we've been doing on Grocery Store, the parody musical cult, the longest title in the world.
Yeah, we should get Rob Rokiki and Joe Iconis. Just come on board.
Love. Well, and the other thing, speaking of those guys, because like, speaking of kings of like the cabaret scene, that also is kind of what it feels like. Oh, and I thought about this earlier, and it's like, we are very lucky to be a part of the New York cabaret scene, and a lot of people don't really know, like, you see what 54 shows, like, I know I was obsessed with all those videos of like, Natalie Weiss at 54, like in high school, me like, so like, this is like, I've seen these types of things, like, where I want to see like a 1 hour bizarre musical that is literally grocery store items, like both people in a grocery store and like inanimate objects singing out their feelings. 54 Below. Like, that is where, you know. And
Jen
it feels
Pepper's
like
coming on the series, so we could maybe make this happen.
just saying, I'm available. I'm very available, and we can be ready as soon as we reopen. But like that's what it also feels like to me is like getting a little of that cabaret experience of like I don't know what is going on, and I love it.
I love it. You know what choreography I just thought of?
What?
You know when they're doing that joke where they're walking and they're taking that and they're walking and they're looking and they're like, no, I don't want this can of soup. And then they put it back. You could totally incorporate that.
Like she like puts the can of soup on and then like zoom in on the can of soup's face. Another day sitting on the shelf all by myself. Just, that poor can of soup. And like also the existential crisis of like yes I have a long life, but like my expiration date's still printed right on me. Like that's sad.
You just found the heart of the show right there.
There it is. That can of soup. That is the emotion right there. That my expiration, and if I'm not taken off this shelf by the expiration date, like, that's so sad and metaphorical. So let's talk again about mental health.
Have you been needing to see a therapist?
Do you feel like a can of soup? Do you poop out at parties? Or do you pop out at parties? Are you unpopular?
Popular.
Talk poop. Popular. I'm gonna be popular.
This is Off the Hinges, and I love it.
All right. Also, that is something that like I need to see on like an SNL sketch that no one wants except me. But I want to see someone pretending to be in the Vitamin and Vegemin I Love Lucy episode, except instead of an advertisement, she's playing Glinda, and that's why she's saying popular. You're gonna be popular. That's very niche. But NBC, if you're listening, I think it would be great.
I think that really ties well into the musical theater and sponsored ad portion of this.
Well, you know, and look, I love SNL, but I'm going to say this out loud. The thing that they messed up the most on was when they had Kristen Wiig in the height of Hamilton, and they didn't do the Schuyler sisters with Angelica, Eliza, and I'm Dunice. Like,
oh my goodness,
missed opportunity.
Stop! Now I can't. The world will never be the same.
Come on! Oh, I see what you did there. You left me satisfied. I don't know. That was not as good. I'm really bad at that. That again, not an improver. I'm not good at that. We're doing callbacks though. Like we are good at that. We're doing callbacks. We're doing all the things.
Come and join us. Slim agrees. Slim is barking outside, being like, "No, I thought that was a very good taste." Actually.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So, okay, I'm going to mute my mic in a second because I want to hear you just, really, really get into the mix of what this musical is and give the people what they want. Take it away.
All right. As I said earlier, that is pre-recorded, it is high, and I am not Ben Platt. So we're gonna see how it goes. Character. And we're fighting, and we're fighting in a grocery store. And I love you, but I don't know if I like you anymore. We're standing right in aisle 9, and you promised everything was fine. Still, we're fighting in a grocery store. Hey, that wasn't bad. That's a hard riff. Because I love you, but I don't know if I like you anymore. Thank you.
Yes. Oh, brava. That was dramatic. And I felt it. And as the can of soup, I really felt a part of it.
Thank you. Yeah, like you felt like the can of, and like that's, maybe it's a can of soup story and it's like he relates to this person and it's like, this person's not in a relationship he doesn't want to be in anymore. And I'm stuck on this shelf and I don't want to be here anymore. How do I escape?
And
We're
then
in like a Toy Story thing now, but with soup.
yeah. And then there's actually this whole rivalry between the different types of soup. You know, they're like, chicken noodle always gets all the press, but I love the red pepper.
It's like, yeah, like, oh, but the thing with the vegetables though, like, yes, they don't last as long in the grocery store, but everyone loves them. Like, it's easy for them to find love. It's not
true.
For canned soup.
I know. And the canned soup, you know, when you're sick at home, do you want a can of soup or do you want one that's homemade?
When you're sitting at home, do you want a homemade can of soup? Who needs can of soup? Can of soup. Oh, jeez.
Like we're not even specifying the ad is just for a can of soup.
Can of soup. Campbell's homemade chicken noodle soup. It's my like low advertising voice. Although we can do from WBEZ Chicago. This is Ira Glass, and we are interviewing Can of Soup today. That's my terrible Ira Glass impression, but I love This American Life, so I try.
My new fancy podcast microphone makes me really feel like, you know, even though Terry Gross has hers probably like very professional hanging, I feel like, so tell me about that time when you were writing about a can of soup. Does it have a deeper meaning to it? And have you seen a therapist recently?
Yeah, and it's, you know, it's about that NPR voice. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode. You know, like
NPR.
I know it's so bougie. I'm like, she fancy. Like, and it's funny because like the direct feed is into my AirPods right now, and it's like when you got close, I was like, she's in my head. It sounds like she's inside of my head.
Do you want to sound like a squip? Get this microphone.
Pick up Audio Technica. It is a great microphone. It's what I use to record Grocery Store.
Did you like Grocery Store, a new musical, semicolon, dash? Then
just the longest
microphone.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much
for being here all week.
I know, it's like it went from a lovely interview to like a stand-up special, and like I'm here for it. Stand-up special featuring sponsored content.
Oh yes, yeah. We are a story within a story. Inception, bro.
Like, who knew that you'd get all this information? And also, I guess it goes along with the grocery store, right? We're like talking about brands. It's like, yeah. It's all there.
It's funny because I had like a bunch of notes that I always take before, like, oh, make sure to talk about this. And like, you know, I wanted to talk about the Broadway Buskers and whatnot. That was so much fun. And
I mean, that was wild. They're like performing in the middle of Times Square with Robert Hickey from The Lightning Thief, the Percy Jackson musical. Good Kid, which like is I bet you I could play most of that score without sheet music because I played it so many times. And again, I don't care. I love it so much. Yeah, like, and being there, like, looking out at Times Square, like, singing a song that I love with people I love is, like, everything that I wish I could do right now.
Yes. Yeah. I specifically wore my Lightning Thief ring. Once again, ring light.
Yes! Yes!
Because I like to be on brand. And if I can't, you know, cosplay for an interview, what can I do?
I love that. Yeah, if you guys haven't listened to Percy Jackson, The Lightning Thief, the Percy Jackson musical, stream it.
Get it right, come on.
I know, I'm sorry. I've said it so many times. Stream it. It's so good. The cast is incredible, and like Good Kid still makes me so emotional when he goes, I swear I never stole I swear I never stole anything. I never meant to hurt anyone. I swear that I'm a good kid that's had a bad run. Ba-da-dum, and it's like my last. Oh,
and
so
the
sad.
way Morgan sang that day, it is funny because I recorded it, and I tend to like watch a lot of the videos I recorded because it's like it brings back good memories. I watched that video of Morgan singing Good Kid so much because it just like it takes a moment and breaks your heart. It's so good.
Yeah, and again, I've seen like so many people do it over the years, like when it was just, or not just, I hate to say that, when it started as a baby as a theater work show, which was amazing, and then it kept growing and growing and growing, like from those to random concerts, and then Chris McCarroll, who like just like belts it out. Luca Padovan singing it, like having I mean, he was like, I think like 14, 15, maybe like 14, when he sang it, and I think like in the actual book, Percy's like 12, so he wasn't at the actual age, but having like an actual teen sing it, like changed a lot of it for me. And then having Morgan Siobhan Green, who could sing anything at me, like she's another one, like
please
just sing anything.
Please, Morgan, just sing for us.
Well, I guess it goes back to what we were talking about 6, where it's each of those performers brings such. I mean, it's a different song. It is a completely different song with each of them. Where like Chris, it's like that. It is that Broadway energy. With Luca, it's like that innocence that like breaks your heart. And then with Morgan, it's because it's more metaphorical. Like she doesn't change the pronouns. She doesn't do anything like that. But it doesn't matter.
Right.
It's just, again, want to listen to all of them. And I believe they recorded Morgan singing it on an album and released that's available on Spotify. I don't remember what the album is. It's like Acoustic with Strong Women or something like that. But I believe that's available on Spotify too, and it's amazing.
And if you don't see it there, you can head over to B-Way Show YouTube, and you can definitely see her performing it live from Broadway Buskers.
That was definitely like your radio show host voice.
Did
from
you like
Broadway, but I loved everything about it. I mean, like, not like in an interview, but it's like with that content, obsessed. I'm like, I feel like I'm listening to a podcast right now.
Mission
Be sure to check it out.
Yeah. No, it is so funny, and I want to be conscious of your time, but it just did you see they recently someone on TikTok, this like married couple where both of them are actual reporters, and they were like, so we're here live at the dinner table and trying to see what do you want to have for dinner? Well, let's take a poll and check back in with you after the break.
Yes, I love that. And you know, it's funny because like everyone talks about like the different, like what part of TikTok are you on? And like, I'm happy to be on like the musical theater part and all that. But like, I also have found my way to like the TV reporting part because it's so funny, some of the backstage stuff that they do, and like hearing them talk in their reporter voice and then go not to it. And like there's a couple of weather guys who do like fun things with the green screens. Like it's such a strain. I don't know how I found my way onto that part of TikTok, but I'm not mad about it.
Welcome. We're happy to have you.
I'm like, all right. Like all the strange TikToks. You got to be careful of deep TikTok. My For You page for like a week there was just like truly absurdist stuff. For those of you who don't know what deep TikTok is, I mean, there's like lots of different deep TikTok, but deep TikTok gets to like just like truly absurd videos where it's just like a mug, but it's like 3 different like. It looks like 3 different cameras and it's all obscure. And it's like black, but also with like chromatica colors. And it's like, woo! Just like some strange sound. And you're like, how did I get here? Like, what did I interact with on this app to bring me here?
Oh, the recommendations. You're like, I need to take a break.
Yes. It's like, maybe I should like get off this app for a few days.
Yeah. Now I feel like I'm just speaking in podcast. Now I'm just speaking in my reporter podcaster voice, and I can't turn it off for a reason. I'm need to maybe just have a sip of coffee and we'll be right back.
She's an actress. She's giving us full character. Like, we love everything about it. I'm obsessed.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Oatmeal Munch.
Thank you, Oatmeal Munch. Thank you so much. Shout out to Tyler Conroy, who got me saying soy, and now I can't stop. I mean, that was like 4 years ago, and it still sometimes pops into my vocabulary somehow.
That is amazing. We have gotten to that portion of the show where we like to give a shout out to a nonprofit or charity of your choosing. Take it away.
I love this. And there's so many places that I think you should consider donating to, consider giving your time to. Obviously, like, if you feel like you are able to help with in-person voting, do that. That's important. Please don't put yourself at risk, but if you feel like that's something you can do. But what I decided is I want to shout out to the NAACP LDF, which during the Black Lives Matters protests, when I was like stuck at home in the middle of like suburbia, I was doing over quarantine. I did this thing called Quarantine Quiz, where every day I released an arrangement of a song without the words, and then I have people guess. And I kept so I was trying. If you appreciate this content, please donate to them. So what I love about NAACP LDF, they've been around for a very long time. But when you go to donate, no matter what, you know that it is going to end up with a good cause. But when you go to donate, you then can pick exactly where you would like it to go within the organization. If you would like it to help fight police brutality, if you would like it to help people get registered to vote, if you would like it to help people get lawyers, if you there's like a list of like 10 things within this larger organization, or you can just say, I want it to go, and you guys can figure it out. But they, like I said, they do a bunch of incredible things. But that's also, you then can pick exactly where your money goes if you really feel passionate about this and you really feel passionate about that. So please go donate, and also vote. Vote.
Please vote.
And if you don't know if you're registered, it's so easy. It's all online now. Please vote. That's, I think, NAACP-LD. Oh, and it's NAACP-LDF.org. And you can donate there. And please vote. I'm just going to keep saying that over and over to everyone that I meet. Even more than talking about how much I love Target. Even though I do love Target, you voting is more important to me at the moment.
That is really big of you to say.
So please check them out.
Yes, no, that's great. And just another shout out to all of the like Actors Fund and Equity Fight, Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS. I've said it so many times that I was like, I can't remember.
Yeah, but that one's not a colon. That's a backslash.
Oh, that's really important.
I think it's a backslash.
And the Broadway Advocacy Coalition, they're doing some really great work for Black Lives Matter. And Sis, who I just love, has this Broadway, I should have written this down in my notes. The future, oh my goodness. Judy, if you see this, comment it.
Judy, do the thing.
Come on, Judy, help me out. Judy.
Do you know, that was an Avatar The Last Airbender / Legend of Korra joke, where there's a character in Legend of Korra. Guys, please watch the show. It's so good and it's free on Netflix. And the best, sorry, I'm going to take this away. It's also, if you have kids or no kids, tell them to watch it because it addresses things that are really important to our society at the moment in a kid-friendly way, but that is easy to understand. And it's the idea of we're attacking the Fire Nation are the bad guys, but within the fight, please watch it. Please watch it. It's really good. Anyways, there's a character whose assistant's name is Judy, and he's like, Judy, do the thing. He always says that to get out of situations. Apologies. Thank you, Judy.
That was perfect. Actually, Judy has this adorable little dog named Appa. Is Appa a character from the show?
Yeah, Appa is, yes.
Appa.
I don't know if it's named after that, but yes. They are flying bison, and I love them more than anything in the world, and I wish they were real.
Oh, Yeah, I wanted to give that cute little puppers a shout out, but I've only seen it written out, and I was like, I don't actually know how to pronounce the name, and now I'll have to check it out on Netflix.
It's so good, I promise. And like, get past like the first 4. If you are an adult, get past the first like 4 episodes because they're definitely like kiddie, and then all of a sudden it gets like very serious, and you're like, oh my, okay, like this is what we're dealing with. So watch it. It's so good.
Also, that time, your little story time helped trigger the memory. So thank you for that. It's the Next Generation Project. And Judy just said yes, but didn't give me the name. Come on, Judy. I'm just kidding. Love you so much. Big fan, big fan. And they're doing great work for the Black and brown, trans, and non-binary communities. So
Amazing.
check them out. And they're really, really cool. And on that note, where can everyone find you on social media?
That's a great question. It's really long. But it's, for most of my social media, it's just my full name. It's at Daniel J. Mertzlufft. And that's my handle on Instagram, and TikTok, and then Daniel J. Mertz on Twitter because it's, too short. But honestly, follow the other ones because I promise you I'm going to delete Twitter again soon just because it's too much for me. But also, check out, no, that's it. Oh, but if you have a hard time spelling my name, if you search like grocery store TikTok, it will bring you there. And also be sure to check out all the other people in it, and be sure to stream New York Summer by Louisa Melcher, which is on Spotify. And again, if you just search New York Summer in Google, New York Summer TikTok, any of those, give it a listen on Spotify, and be sure to listen to the line that inspired it all. And I promise you it will make you nostalgic for like a real New York summer.
It really, really does. And I'm telling you, when you hear the line, there is like a, ooh, that is so exciting. So
it really sticks out. It does.
Yeah, it is for sure. And a quick, y'all can find me at BWA Show, BWAYSHO, as you see all around here for the Chelsea Hill banner. Thank you, Slim, everybody.
Doggo.
He wanted to close this out, and special shout out to my Showtreons. That's the B-Way Show Patreon. We have a fun time. We do Twitter and video chats, and we have a Hamilton trivia coming up soon and a Halloween themed video chat. So come and join us.
That's fun. I want to join in on that.
Join us.
Catch me like typing right now. Like, bye, thank you.
Yeah, yes. And because I mentioned about this podcast microphone, we have B-Way Show, the podcast, coming to you live every week. So check it out.
Yes, that's amazing.
And now that I got to say that, and Slim has joined us and left one more time. Thank you. Slim, everybody. Slim.
Give it up now.
Any final words you want to say to all of your fans out there?
No, just thank you to everyone who's enjoyed this. Thank you to Louisa for giving me the inspiration and for your beautiful lyric. Thank you to everyone who duetted and who's just shown love for this. I never expected this. And also that it is a difficult time right now to just be alive, which is why we like joke about mental health, but I take it very seriously. So please take whatever you need to do that. And I think the thing that I'm just most happy about is that this little thing brought people joy. And if it was for the 10 minutes you were scrolling through all those duets, it brought you joy. I'm thankful that you watched it, and that's truly everything to me. Also, vote. Thank you again for having me. This has just been so fun. I miss you. This is like, but it's so good to see your face, and thank you again for asking me to be on.
It's good to see your face.
Just
yeah.
Play me out, Johnny. What's
Thank
that, Family
you
Guy?
so much. This show was brought to you by all of the people we said before. And But really, mental health is a big thing, and I appreciate you saying so much about that, because right now we do need to support one another, and there are so many resources online that you can find ways to really take care of yourself. Take a moment to breathe, to get outside safely with a mask. Let's vote so we can change things, because we want to get Broadway back, and we need you to make that happen. So thank you. Thank you for coming on. This was so much fun, like totally made my day, brought so much joy. And thank you everyone who's watching and commenting along. Y'all are the best. Thank you. We'll see you at the show. Bye.
Yes, see you on Broadway 2022, the grocery store. Bye.